Good day, everyone. So, before we start this session, I just want to say this video is dedicated to three friends of mine. One of them was born today, it's his birthday. His name is Bijoy. And the other two had their anniversary last week. So, can we wish the happy couple Antonio and Rachel a happy anniversary? And my friend Bijoy a very happy birthday. May he live long and prosper. And may we all be united under the force. Now, today's story is an H.P. Lovecraft. It is called The Nameless City. And fun fact, I did not take Lovecraft very seriously until I read this story. And I will comment later because it has come to my attention that I waste too much time yammering on and not spending enough time on the core crux of this. So let me tell the story and then we will go into a little bit of yabba dabba doo. It starts with our narrator who is nameless, astride a camel, looking for the nameless city. Now, this city is a legend, and in context to the period, it is vague. It is very, very vague because apparently this city is older than the biblical flood. It is older than when the bricks of what would later become Babylon were baked. It is older than the continent of Africa. The word I'm looking for is ancient. This city is ancient and it is feared. But taking the saying, curiosity killed the cat, ripping it to pieces and throwing it to the wind, is our protagonist. He is looking for the city because he is curious about the city. Now, the obvious question is, if this city is so old, if this city is so ancient, how did this guy come to know about it? Well, apparently there was a mad prophet, a poet of sorts, who said one thing about the city. Two lines. What are those lines? That is not dead, which can eternal lie, and with strange aeons, even death may die. And this, ladies, gentlemen, kids of ages who have been exposed to my stories, is the premise of my story. Do you understand why I chose it? Our protagonist is going towards the city. He is on camel and he finds the city. And at first he is in awe because it is night and there is a strange wind. There is a strange wind blowing near the city. So it's the middle of the desert and the city is somewhat in ruin, somewhat in good shape. At first glance, it does not appear to be so old. But something about the atmosphere of the entire situation, the eeriness, if that is even a word. Is that a word? Can you let me know, guys? Eeriness, is that a word? So the eeriness of the situation gets to our protagonist. And this is where the psychological battle will begin, where the protagonist will feel scared And the protagonist will feel curious, and the protagonist will feel scared, and curious, and scared, and so the eeriness of the thing, the atmosphere of the situation gets to him, and he starts to feel scared. So he rests. He's like, I'll do this in the morning. The morning comes, and he wakes up. So, fun fact about deserts for those who don't know, it's cold at night and it's warm during the day. So, it's quite possible that the heat woke him up, right? And anyway, he woke up and he saw the nameless city, the thing that he has been looking for, spread out before him. And suddenly his curiosity came back. So he went down into the I'm not very clear about like where exactly the foundation of the city is, because I think this is deliberate. Mm, but like there's a I think it contributes to the basic mystery that the author is trying to build over here. I'm new to Lovecraft again, so I don't know. But yeah, so he goes down into the valley, so to speak, that the city is situated in, and he starts to look very carefully at the exterior of the city. There is indeed a way inward, but he doesn't take it. He spends most of the morning scouting the perimeter of the city, making observations, and the curiosity in him starts to reach a fever pitch until in the mid afternoon he decides that it is time to take a step into the city. So he prepares himself. He takes a torch and he charges in. And quick is he to notice that he is going down. He's going down and down and down and down and down. And as he is going down, he observes a couple of things. The light of the torch reveals casements of glass and wood, big caskets, and he is puzzled because the research that he has done about the city indicates that it is old, so old. So, how is it possible that structures of glass and wood, that too firmly shut and locked, are there in this city? And a small hint of fear comes. What is he getting into? He begins to understand why people fear this city. And a little bit of that fear, a smattering of that fear gets into him. He hesitates. He looks around. It is not too late to turn back. What will he do? He teeters on the brink of indecision. Then the curiosity comes and kicks him forward. And he goes a little deeper into the chamber. And in that chamber, he turns the torch to the walls. And on the walls, there are hieroglyphics. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, hieroglyphics. But here's where it gets a little crazy. The hieroglyphics depict humanoid creatures, but they are also reptilian. They have tentacles. They have odd structured bodies. They are humanoid in name only, and they are definitely not human. And now the fear comes back. And this time, the fear is a little higher. And so he pauses again. And he's standing in a room, the walls of which are lined with these mysterious caskets that should technically not exist in a space this old, and these even more mysterious hieroglyphics. And somehow the curiosity gives him another kick. And he starts to look closer at these caskets, at the bodies inside these caskets. And they are again the inhabitants of the city. And the inhabitants of the city are tall, reptilian, humanoid creatures, but reptilian humanoids. And this is where the second detail is inserted. They are adorned with jewels, metals. So the mystery, the what's the word, yard? The mystery, yeah, I think that's the best word. The mystery deepens, the plot thickens. Yes, that's what I was looking for. The plot thickens, and the curiosity gives him one more kick. So he goes onward, and he reaches a chamber that is a little narrower than the previous chamber. And in this chamber, he's going further into the earth. And he notices that to make the descent easier, there are footholds carved out of the rock, possibly using tools. And he uses these footholds like one would use a ladder to slowly climb down and down and down and down and down. And suddenly a draft blows out his torch. But he doesn't realize this. He is so lost in wonder at what is happening around him, at the situation he finds himself in. The fact that he's exploring an ancient civilization that is exhibiting knowledge of engineering, capabilities of constructing glass, wood, footholds out of rock made with tools. That his mind is boggled right now. What is he about to discover? He goes deeper and deeper and deeper. The torch is out. He is in pitch blackness. But his eyes have adjusted to the blackness. And he reaches the bottom of the chamber. And this is where it gets even more messy. In front of him, there is a massive door made of brass. And the frame of the door is artificial. It is, I would say, man-made, but like again, humanoid reptilian creatures. So these creatures, they have made the door. Right. And he opens the door. And beyond this door, there is a glow, a phosphorescent glow. And in this glow, he sees a fine mist covering the chamber. He cannot see the steps leading into the chamber because they are covered with this mist. So, again he is scared. He looks down at the steps. He hesitates and he glimpses something. He glimpses something reptilian. Something is moving in this chamber. What? How can it be possible? He recalls everything he has studied about this city. Everything. This cannot be possible. What he is seeing cannot be possible. So now you're asking, what is he seeing? He is seeing these creatures. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, kids who are watching this because your parents are letting you watch it, the creatures dating back to, according to what he knows about them, dating back to before the biblical flood, are alive. And they are in this chamber and they are moving. And then he lets out a cackle of laughter. The door swings close, and he recalls those lines. That is not dead, which can eternal lie. And with strange aeons, even death may die. That was The Nameless City by H.P. Lovecraft. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason why I am broadcasting this story at night. I felt that I should try my best to impress upon you the atmosphere that is generated by this story. It is a story whose language is a little old, and the background of that, the reason for that is I did some research on Lovecraft, and he wrote in the 1920s. So he was active from about 1917 to nearly 1940. And if you recall, I believe The Hobbit from the mind of J.R.R. Tolkien was written in 1930, and the epic that is The Lord of the Rings was written in the 40s. So Lovecraft and Tolkien were functioning together at one point of time, and there is plenty of reference to Lovecraft in Tolkien's later work, especially the extended Lord of the Rings Middle Earth universe. Furthermore, a couple of modern fantasy writers, especially Neil Gaiman, pay homage to Lovecraft. And finally, if this story has at all interested you, because it has definitely interested me, and now I'm going to look into Lovecraft with a fine-tooth comb. So, the last nugget of information. Apparently, these reptilian humanoid creatures are what Lovecraft later termed to be the ancient ones. And apparently they are older than death. And one of these ancient ones is called Cthulhu. So there's an entire universe that he created called the Cthulhuverse. And there are plenty of stories featuring Cthulhu. Or to give him his full name, the Great Cthulhu. Now I cannot tell you more. My research has stopped here. But I can tell you that I will be looking into Lovecraft, and in the future I will be bringing a little more Lovecraft to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages watching this, when your parents allow you to, that is, or even if your parents don't allow you to, still watch it, because negative publicity is good publicity. That was H.P. Lovecraft, The Nameless City. It is night here, and I am making a couple of changes to how I'm going to broadcast my stories from this point onward. It is more comfortable for me to do it either on Sunday in the evening, or if that is not possible, Monday in the evening. But I am changing the time from the afternoon to the evening, because there is a genuine issue with the location where I'm sitting. Sometimes that window is a little weird, because sometimes even when the curtains are drawn, the amount of sunlight penetrating into the room is a little different. Even if I do it at the same time of day, what I broadcast is like the third or fourth shot. I don't just, sit in front of the computer and just go. So I will be doing it at night, because the nighttime sessions, there's a balance between the light in the room and the darkness outside. And I will be most probably doing it on Monday in the evening, Because let's try to drive away the Monday blues. Hmm. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. I will leave you now to think about what you just heard, and I will be bringing more Lovecraft to you. I hope you enjoyed this story. This is where I leave you. Please stay safe, stay vigilant. This is the Bilge Master signing off.